Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for coming by. This is cool. I didn't expect to have a crowd. It's nice.
Hi.
This is Katie Tunstall.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
How long have you been in our fair country?
I've been here since about 9:30 this morning.
This morning?
Well, no, that's not true. I was in Canada yesterday. I played the Regina Folk Festival last night.
How was that? How does that compare to this one?
Fantastic. Well, I don't know yet. I just got here, so
Okay.
this is obviously quite a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And it's definitely got that kind of massive festival vibe, and I'm seeing people dressed up, and it's all looking good. It's all very promising.
What's your favorite, since we're at festivals, and you've been at festivals for quite a while now, what's your favorite festival memory?
My favorite festival memory is possibly when I was running along a very sort of dirty track. I can't even remember, maybe Tea in the Park, which is a festival in Scotland.
Right.
And Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips had looked like he'd stolen a golf cart. And he was kind of bombing along this track. And I said, "Wayne Coyne, you rule!" And he stopped his golf cart and gave me a big hug. And that was very cool. That was very cool.
So you got two sets today, 5:40, stage 5, Jeremy
Yeah.
Fisher, a few other people. Do you know what's going on? No one seems to know what the stages are
No, I don't
yet.
know either. I
Fantastic.
was hoping someone was going to tell me.
No, I have no
I'm
idea.
taking my guitar. That's all I know.
Yeah, so it's just you and the loop pedals today, or do you have your band
Just
with you?
myself. It's just
that's
me
awesome.
and me and guitar. On stage, I have two guys from my band, so it's just a 3-piece. It's a stripped down, quite a rocky show, and I do have my loop pedal with me tonight. So yeah,
Taiwanese, what do you call it? Taiwanese
it's
orchestra?
the Taiwanese orchestra, exactly.
I want to go back, though. No, there was no music in your house as a kid. Is this true? You did not listen to tunes when you were a kid?
My folks weren't big music fans. They didn't listen to music.
So what got you into it then?
It was more about playing. I was really into playing instruments. And so when I did my music class at school, my music teacher was a piano player, and I'd just watch how she was playing, and I'd really want to learn how to play. So when I was about 4, I asked my parents for a piano, and they were pretty bummed that I'd chosen like the biggest instrument you could choose. And so I started learning classical piano, and then really just got into learning anything I could get my hands on. Just ended up teaching myself guitar and singing. I've not had lessons in those things. It was just finding a way of writing and feeling it felt natural to play those things.
Do you still play piano?
Yeah, I do actually.
You don't bring it out live, though.
No, I did a solo tour of North America, and that I took a keyboard there, but I'm not made to play piano, because you have to be so precise when you play piano, and I'm a messy musician. I'm just all about vibe and rhythm. So when it comes to precision,
timing, though, with the pedals.
Timing is a big thing. I put down a lot of my success to get to doing tap dancing when I was a kid, and learning some good old coordination was a good thing.
So where did the loop pedal idea come from? Because that's pretty innovative, especially the way you do it.
Well, it was really because I'd recorded that first album, Eye to the Telescope, and I'd been playing at open mic nights and playing on the street and doing a whole load of solo stuff, and then got my record deal and made a record, and it kind of sounded like a band, even though it wasn't really. It was people coming in and playing, and it wasn't exactly 5 of us in a room being recorded. Like, I played quite a few of the things myself, and so when it came to actually going out and playing that record for people, I just couldn't face going out and just being girl with a guitar. There was so many girls just with guitars, and I really needed the rhythm. The rhythm had become such an important part of what I did. So a friend had it was really just a guitar loop pedal, and I'd seen a couple of people, a great guy called Jim White, who I don't know if you know.
No, I don't.
American singer-songwriter. He would loop his guitars. And I saw another guy who I'm pretty sure is Canadian, actually, who's called Son of Dave.
Oh, yeah. I think he is Canadian.
And he would beatbox and play harmonica and kind of rap the blues over his voice. And I thought to myself, well, surely you can put the guitar and the voice into this thing. So my friend and I kind of set to working out how to do that. And it was when I started beating up my guitar that I realized that I could kind of use it as a drum machine, and that it kind of kicked off.
How does it work for the new songs? So the new songs are a lot more electronic than the folk stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
people are
there's
used
more
to.
electronica in the new stuff. I've incorporated another bit of gadgetry, which is actually a more electronic pedal, which I play on my old song, Other Side of the World. I've kind of revamped. And so I've just introduced some electronic beats as well as the analog stuff that I'm recording.
So you decided to make it, what do you call it, nature techno or something?
Nature techno.
Nature techno record.
It doesn't really describe the whole record. It was more as a sort of target for me to remember where I was trying to get to with the sound of the kind of feel of the record, which is sort of a mixture between my favorite electronic dance music and Eddie Cochran.
And Eddie Cochran.
Yeah.
Like 12-bar blues, Eddie Cochran.
Yeah, but you listen to Come On Everybody and Summertime Blues, and they make me feel pretty similar to really great dance tunes like Left Field and Chemical Brothers. They'd make me want to dance, and they've got a pulse, and they just make you present when you listen to that kind of music. And that's what I wanted to kind of get through, was it wasn't really about sounding like a dance record. It was more about playing instruments the way that I play them to sound like that. So it's a lot of natural instruments making the sound of a conventional dance record.
And you certainly went to the right place to record it.
You did, yeah, I did.
This is where the Berlin Wall was? Is that true, the studio you recorded?
Yeah, Hansa Studio, where I recorded Tiger Suit, it was called Hansa by the Wall, and Bowie recorded Heroes there. Iggy Pop recorded U2, did Acting Baby. Depeche Mode mixed their first record on the roof, and the Berlin,
on the roof.
Yeah, the Berlin Wall was still standing at that stage. It was in the 80s, and by all accounts, Depeche Mode went up on the roof, took a PA system, and pointed the speakers at East Germany, because it's in West Germany, the studio, so that the East German patrol could hear their records, and they were sort of all. So it's a really amazing place, but of course Berlin and Germany are also intrinsic to the electronic dance movement. I mean, it's kind of the birthplace of, Kraftwerk, but a lot of very important dance music. So, and Berlin's great. I'd never really been before, and it's got such an energy to it. It made, for me, because I live in London now, and it made London feel quite self-conscious, like we're worrying about what other people think, and there's more artists per square mile in Berlin than any other city in the world, apparently, and it's very cheap to live there, but it's also, there's just a real lack of self-consciousness. People are just getting on with doing what they want to do and not worrying about what people think of them, so that's a really healthy environment.
For sure. Where do you think the next record's going to go? I mean, it's a natural progression from everything.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the next record, actually.
Do you write on the road? Are you writing right now?
A little. I've started to. I never have in the past. But I've had a new song stuck in my head all day today. And
Are we going to hear it tonight?
No, the first verse is wrong. I've got to work it out. But yeah, what I'm going to do is that Jim Abbas, who I worked with on this last record, who also did the Arctic Monkeys, he did Adele's first record. He's worked with a bunch of really editors as well, if you know them. He's worked with some really fantastic original new acts. And so when I went into the studio with him, I just thought, this is a guy who can sort of listen to what makes you different from other people and really put the microscope on that rather than trying to make you fit in, which I really liked about him. But in the process of it, we just had such a laugh, and we were coming up with all these kind of beds to songs that just were pumping dance tracks, and they were sort of going a little too far. So we've decided that in September we're going to go back to the room that we started working in, which is Trevor Horn's studio in London, where George Michael recorded Faith.
Yes.
Which we bonded over, loving this song. And we're going to make a proper dance record. We're just going to...
Really?
Not under my name. We'll do it under a side project. And we're just going to go in and laugh for 3 weeks and make a dance record. And then I'll start on my next solo album, which I think my aim with the next solo record is just to... I want it to be about just crying. I want it to be about either happy crying or sad crying. I just want it to be emotional and really very lo-fi and raw and quite DIY is what I'm looking at.
Wow. You still have a label, though?
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm still on EMI. And
the EP was just you, though, right?
The EP
you just put out an EP.
That was the first sort of very autonomous project that I did, and we did it. I did it with my husband. He's the drummer in the band, and we recorded it at our solar-powered studio in England, and it's the first thing we've sort of produced in that way, and it was so liberating to go, God, I can write a song, we can go in the studio at any time of day, record the song, and then stick it out, put it on vinyl. It's so great, and I think with the way that music's going and the way that it's struggling under the weight of the internet changing how people get their music, I think that the way that you make music and the way that you deliver the music is now incredibly important to fans. not to just do it a normal way, slap it on a CD, have a big ad campaign. It's not very exciting anymore. You want a story, and you want to craft something that people are really invested in, and they think, wow, that's a really great story, and I want to be part of it by getting hold of that.
Do you need a full record then, or can you just put out songs?
I mean, this is the thing. This is how it's changing so much, I think, that musicians are really getting to a place where they will release almost immediately. I'm a massive advocate of the album, and I think I'll probably always make albums. But you can't force people to buy the whole album. But one thing I would say is that, I feel that many of my fans who come up and say hi tell me that what their favorite song is, and it's so seldomly a single. Wow. It's usually an album track. And you just think, well, you may well not have heard that track if you hadn't clicked on the whole album rather than just pick the songs that you hear on the radio or whatever. So I still think an album's a really important way of delivering a whole artwork of ideas rather than just the catchy stuff, because the catchy stuff is great, but it's not necessarily the best.
Do you try and write singles? Do you know you're writing a single when you're writing a song?
No, you don't set out. I don't set out to write it, but then sometimes I'll come up with a riff, like this new song that's stuck in my head. I was like, okay, that's good, it's good, and it might be, but nobody knows. I mean, you talk to the most successful record dude, and he doesn't know. Nobody knows. There's not really a formula for making something successful. But certainly, my 7-minute talking songs with no singing in the background probably aren't going to be a single.
That's a good point. We got to play some singles, though. It's a radio station, obviously.
Yeah,
so
sure.
When this airs on Monday, what we do on the website is we have 3 songs. People can vote on them. So I thought maybe we'd get you to do a little storytellers about those 3 songs, and
sure.
I'll cut in whichever one wins. So let's start with Black Horse, since it was the big, huge, worldwide hit.
Well, Black Horse was a pretty bizarre story because I recorded Eye to the Telescope, and Black Horse wasn't written. And the album was being pressed. Everything was going fine. And then Jules Holland, who has this fantastic music show in the UK, his scouts had come round to check out one of my rehearsals to see if they liked what I was doing. And my record label boss said, play that new one, the horse one, the woohoo song. And I was like, but what's the point of that? Because it's not on my record. I was thinking I'll save this for the next record. And he said, well, don't worry about it. Just play it and see what happens. So I played it feeling quite stressed out that, this is not on my album and it's just a brand new song. And so a few weeks went by, and then I got this phone call. I was on tour playing in my friend's band, and they said that Nas, the rapper, had pulled out of the show because his father was sick, and would I like to take the spot? And I was, I'm completely unknown, and my album hasn't been released yet, and so of course I say yes. And again, my record label were like, play the new one. And I was like, you're mental. This is not on the record. We have no recording of this song. I said, don't worry about it. Just play it. And so I play the song, and then it kind of goes through the roof, and it becomes this sort of sensation, and everybody's into it. And so the first 10,000 copies of my album have the audio from the TV show.
Really?
Because we had no recording of the song. And then we ended up recording it in a day, just me and the drummer, and that was it. But really, it was a song about... it was partly about going through the experience of signing a record deal. And as a musician, you think that it's going to be amazing, and you want to drink champagne and party all night, and it's incredible. And actually, I find it one of the most terrifying, soul-questioning moments for me, where I was just going, am I signing my freedom away here? What am I doing? I don't know these people. Are they going to want to change me? And so it's really a song about a Robert Johnson-esque story of being at a crossroads, and you feel that one way is a light way and one way is a dark way, and not really feeling that one is right or wrong, but just having to make a decision where to go.
Well, it's 7 years later. Do you feel like you sold your soul?
No, I don't feel like I sold my soul, but I've battled. I've been in battle, I don't think that really, the agendas of a record label and of an artist will never ever be the same. So you're always going to fight. I think there's probably something really wrong if you don't fight with your label, because they're trying to sell you, and they're trying to make you make stuff that'll sell. So, and that's not your priority as an artist. So you pick your battles, and you have some good fights, and you end up putting out what you want to put out, and you get there in the end. Let's
move on to the next record, Drastic Fantastic, and Hold On.
Hold On was really, if you listen to the first album and then you listen to the second album, to Drastic Fantastic, I think Hold On is the point where you can hear that I'm starting to get really interested in beats. And I had moved to northwest London, and it's an area of London where there's a huge dancehall scene. There's a lot of Jamaican, a lot of West Indian people living there, and they've kind of got their own very microcosmic music scene. So these gigs will happen, that they only happen in this area, but you'll walk around Harlesden, where I was living in London, and everywhere the windows are down, and it's just going everywhere, every window. Just that's the beat. It's the dancehall beat everywhere, and I was like, God, I love that beat, and so yeah, I stole it.
All right.
But yeah, it's good fun.
Fade Like a Shadow, the new single.
Fade Like a Shadow is one of my favorite tricks with a song, where you have what sounds like a very upbeat, happy, positive song, and it's actually quite bitchy. It's quite a nasty, not nasty, it's just quite a scathing song. And what had happened was that I'd met someone who I don't name and shame, it doesn't seem fair, who had really got under my skin, and they kind of haunted me for a while after I'd met them, and I just couldn't shake this feeling. It's just meeting someone who doesn't make you feel good about yourself, and you feel like they're doing it deliberately. And so I was really struggling to kind of shake this feeling of being haunted, and so I ended up kind of exercising it in a song.
Nice.
And so yeah, it's quite a needly number, but it definitely helped me get past whatever it was.
Cool. I know you got to go because you're on stage soon, so we do something called 5 questions. 5
Sure.
quick questions, 1 word answers. Road or studio?
Oh, I would have said road straight away about 2 years ago, and now I have my own studio. I can't answer that question.
All right.
I'm loving studio too.
Lennon or McCartney?
Lennon.
What
Sorry, Paul.
It's okay. What moves you most? Lyrics, melody, or rhythm? I'm gonna guess rhythm at this point.
It's so hard. That's like saying you're going to choose your brain, your heart, or your soul. I would say at the moment rhythm, but they're equal powers in the world.
Cool. Song you've written you're most proud of?
There's a song, it changes because you're always just proudest of the most recent thing that you've done. But there's a song that I'll play tonight, which is part of a new collection of very acoustic, finger-picked songs. And it's called The Scarlet Tulip. And it just came together with the melody, the lyrics. But there's, the rhythm isn't a big part of it, actually. But it was just one of those songs where I felt like I was remembering it rather than actually coming up with it. It just felt very old and very familiar, and very proud of that one.
Cool. And in 1 word, Katie Tunstall.
Hi.
That's good. I'll take it. Thank you for Katie Tunstall.
Thank you.